I mean, hell of a performance, hell of a game. We'll see you next time, Coach.
Hey, come on. Come on. Hey, I mean, all of you. Hey,
are we serious? Well, that happened.
It did.
Of course, we're going to talk about it here on the PHNX Sun Devil Show, guys. It is time for a walk of shame. I am Anthony Totri, the man to my right. That is, of course, your greedy little pig, Erik Ruby. We have Captain Redbeard behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Guys, we're coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Yep, you heard me off the top. It is time for a walk of shame because the Sun Devils, they fell late. They fell to the Arizona Wildcats 81-72. Obviously, a lot to get into on this post-game show. Got our normal segments, closing time, bottle service, by the numbers, aftertaste, and so much more. The rivalry aspect of the entirety is, something that we have to get into in terms of the ending of that game.
Let's get into it.
I think there are a lot of people on social media, a lot of people in this chat talking about classless program, classless coach, classless whatever. I need you to cut that music for me.
I'm clearing out. When somebody's about to take about 15 shots in a row?
I need you to cut that music for me for a second. Because I hear everybody in the chat, right, talking about, oh my goodness, Bobby Hurley's classless. The Arizona State players, they're classless. They didn't shake the hands of their rival after the game. I don't know if you guys know what a rivalry is, but it means that I don't like you and you don't like me. That's what a rivalry is, okay? And in the Valley, it should be, if you're from an Arizona State family, you grow up and you tell your kids and your kids' kids and their kids to hate the Arizona Wildcats. And I expect vice versa. I expect that energy. I expect people in Tucson to grow up hating the maroon and gold. And when you win on that court, all bets are off. You can shake your hand if you want to. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I don't need your handshake. I don't need your respect. You're my rival. It means nothing to me. Okay? It got chippy down the stretch at the end. I mean, the refs were sucking on their whistles the entire game, right? It was a chippy game. Elbows, pushing, headbutts, yelling, technical fouls on both sides. It's a rivalry. That's why we like it, okay? So, yeah, when my coach at the end of the game, after, mind you, they lost at home, I get that. We'll get into that. That's what the rest of this post-game show is for. But, yeah, when my coach, who's been here for a decade, right, leaves the court, make sure his players get off the court. We're not talking to them. They're our rival. We got another matchup. We'll see you guys again in a couple weeks, and we'll get you back. We'll get you back over at your place. Yeah, I like that energy. I like that toughness. I like it. Okay, that's what you want to see. When you lose a game like this and you need some energy, that's what I want. I want for my coach to feel that way. I want my coach pissed off and irritated at the end of the day, right? If it's a loss, obviously I'd love a win. But you'll have to settle for this. That's what Arizona State has to settle with. And if you're an Arizona State fan, you are entitled to your opinion. You're all entitled to your opinion. If you don't like it, that Bobby and the players walked off the court, didn't shake hands, did none of that, that's fine. That is your prerogative. You're entitled to my opinion. My opinion is, I like it. Screw them. They're our rival. I don't like you. You don't like me. That's how it goes. I'm going to see you in a couple weeks. And guess what? It's going to be chippy again. There's going to be pushing. There's going to be shoving. There's going to be yelling. Whatever. Okay? Yes, if it was any other team, then sure. I got to shake your hand. You're right. I'm somebody, as the head coach of this program, that needs to leave a little bit of a lesson for these guys, right? I need to be the bigger man. I need to shake the hands of an Iowa State, of a Houston, of a Kansas, whatever, right? I get that. But it's different. This is the oldest rivalry in college sports. You think Bobby Hurley and Tommy Lloyd like each other? Do you like everybody you met from Tucson? Do you like every Arizona Wildcat you ever met? Did you like sitting at DFA today and seeing those Wildcat fans cheering, throwing the forks down at your house? No? Then why are we shaking their hands? They're our rival. That's sports, okay? If you want buddies and you want friends and you want to lose and you want to go have a drink afterwards, that's something completely different. We're playing in the best conference that college basketball has to offer. And our rival just beat us at our place. Tip of the cap to him. But y'all crazy thinking after the way that game ended with headbutts and chippiness and yelling and technical fouls that Bobby Hurley and the players are going to go shake some hands. Nah, get out of here with that. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. It is what it is. I know there's a lot of people that disagree with me. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm going to take my opinion. That's just what it is.
I think we just set a record for longest we've gone into a show with the least amount of words from me. Because you cooked for like 6 straight minutes there. Now, you know, we
planted the flag now on their field after we won the football game.
I'm mad at Bobby Hurley, but for a different reason. Okay? Nobody's talking about this. I'm going to be the first one to bring this up.
Okay.
I'm mad at Bobby Hurley. I wish that he went over to shake Tommy Lloyd's hand. And he put it out in front of him. And he hit him with the... Too slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Punked him.
I mean, what do you honestly, I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think, honestly. Because I want to get into it.
Honestly. I don't love it like you love it.
Okay.
I understand it, especially understand the players. It's tough because, like, somebody said it, I think it was either in the chat or online. It was like, you know, Kenny kind of puts it as like, you know, it's sports, you shake your opponent's hand, but you hate them and you want to beat them, right? Like, you can hate them and you can want to beat them, but you can still do the cordial shake hands.
Yeah.
That being said, if vice versa happened, I'd obviously be in the chat and U of A's chat being like, oh, you didn't do this. Oh, you didn't do that. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not the biggest deal in the world.
No,
like,
I wouldn't
it's rivalry.
care.
Like,
that's the thing is, I wouldn't care.
I feel the same way, like, people who get mad at Jacob Kingaika for planting the pitchfork at U of A, but the U of A fans who don't realize that the flag was planted at Mount America Stadium the year before, like, it's when a rivalry game happens, you don't have to agree with everything. Like, I'm not telling U of A fans to like it. I'm not telling ASU fans to like it. But if you don't think that it all means a little bit more, then you don't think that it's like, hey, man, like, Bobby Hurley wanted to win this game maybe more than anybody that was on the court or off the court, right? And he didn't. And he's mad.
Yeah.
And you know how Bobby Hurley gets.
Yeah.
Y'all know how emotional he can be at times. He's our coach. Like, it is wild to me how much outrage can get sparked over stuff like this.
I know.
Because at the end of the day, like, I agree with you partially. And I also think he probably should have shook his hand.
Yeah.
But it's a rivalry game. Get over yourself.
It is. It's a
hate
rivalry
the other
game.
Side.
It's a rivalry game,
This
man.
is the part of society where it's fine to hate people, okay?
Yeah.
You can hate
ASU
and U of A fans can hate each other.
All these Wildcat fans in the chat standing behind their faceless images on their profile pictures saying X, Y, and Z to me. I didn't see none of y'all in Tempe today, right? saw a bunch of Wildcat fans. Y'all get real eager to chat with me in here. Y'all zip your lips in public. I don't see none of that mess. Okay? That's what it is. It's the same thing. So you sit here, right, with your little Twitter fingers calling me X, Y, and Z, and that's fine. It doesn't mean anything to me. But what I'm saying to you is you guys are calling Bobby Hurley and this team classless POS, right? Yet you're in this chat doing what? Right? So maybe back up, go look in the mirror.
Okay, can I say this?
You can say this. Go ahead.
You can like it or you can not like it. I don't think it's a good look. I don't think.
I just don't care. I don't care.
I'm not telling you to. Like, I'm not sitting here like going at you for that. I'm just saying, like, in a separate category, I don't think it was a great look. I don't think it, like, when you do that, you show that the other team is under your skin.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no, I
don't think it does. I don't think it does. I don't think it does. If you think about it like this, if you have worked in a place for 10 years, okay, and you have a competitor, okay, a competing station, whatever, and you have been at it for 10 years, 10 years, you guys go back and forth.
Sure.
You hate these people. Right? You got a bunch of other games, a bunch of other competitors. This is the matchup that you just hate you hate them.
I agree.
You can't do it.
No, but that's the thing is, like, you can hate it. You can hate the other side all you want. Like, those two things, like, to play a little Sun Devil's advocate here, which, hey, that's a segment name. You can still hate the other side and shake their hands.
Nah, screw that. I don't like you.
Like, dude,
I'm not, but that's the thing. I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to fake it.
But you don't have to fake it. Bobby Hurley didn't have to go up and be like, what's up, dude? How you doing, man?
No.
You do this.
I'm not going to know.
This is all you do.
Absolutely not.
Put your hand down.
No.
Put your hand down. Put your hand down. That's all you do. You go, good game. And you
Nah.
walk away.
Nah.
And you walk away. You walk away.
Nah.
Like, you can still show that you don't like the other person. Like, it makes you come off like you're bothered. Like, you're the one who's, your skin got underneath your skin.
I think
you're mad. You're upset. Like, It's the classic, like,
I think for me,
I'm not mad, you're mad. I'm not mad, you're mad.
I think, again, for me, it has nothing to do with being mad. Okay. I think for me, it's more so I just don't like you.
Sure.
I'm not going to waste my time trying to put on a fake facade and shake your hand for what? For the fan base to enjoy it? I don't like you.
Sure.
You shouldn't like me. That's
Agreed.
the rivalry.
Agreed.
I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay, question. Continuing to play Sun Devil advocate.
Okay.
Do you think Kenny Dillingham likes the Wildcats?
No, he doesn't. But obviously, it's a different situation. He shook his hand. Yes, him and Bobby, two completely different people. That's fine. Kenny shook Brent Brennan's hand. That's his prerogative. Like I said, everybody in the chat has their own opinion. That's fine. And that's totally cool. I'm giving you my opinion.
Oh, there's no changing his opinion.
No, there's absolutely not.
There's nothing.
But that's the
nothing
thing.
can be said that will change his mind.
If I don't like you, then I'm not going to fake it. You're gonna know if I don't like you.
Yeah, if you guys watch the show,
like that's just how it goes, right? The mofos in the chat that type a certain kind of way, right? And I can remember all y'all's names, and then I see you in public, and then you don't say nothing.
Okay,
right?
Stop talking like, dude.
Right?
Okay, all right, hold up.
BS. We're getting people in here saying
Okay,
outlandish stuff.
Yes, but and
Kyle,
I agree.
Kyle, you start to see certain things.
Okay,
just start kicking them, and I'm not messing around today. Just start kicking them. Okay, that's where I'm at today. Y'all got me sweating in here talking about some.
Okay, how about this?
No Wildcats on the ship.
Okay, let's take a second. We're about 15 minutes in.
We are about 15 minutes in.
I think we've covered what we need to cover about that. There was a basketball game that was played. We should probably talk about it.
We could talk about it.
Let's catch our breath. Make sure you hit the like button, even if you hate us. And we'll be back right after this.
AD gone.
Sometimes you just need a break from people. Sometimes you don't want to be around people, and that's why Waymo is a fantastic way to get around the valley, okay? Because it's not a driverless car, it's an autonomous car, which means, sorry, it's a driverless car. It is not autonomous. There is a driver that is just not in the car itself.
Yeah.
Now, Waymo's so far in the future that even I'm having trouble explaining it. But let me paint you a picture. You hail your ride on the Waymo One app, and you step into an all-electric Jaguar I-Pace with zero emission experience. And you're stepping into a vehicle that has helped do over 150,000 trips across San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Phoenix, and over 40 million miles of real-world driving experience. That's enough to drive to the moon and back 80 times. And maybe
80 times?
Maybe we need to all take a break and go to the moon and then come back.
Go to the moon
and talk about this game. All you have to do to get into an autonomous car is download the Waymo One app, ride today, and step into your Jaguar.
I love it. I also love our friends over at Shady Rays, of course.
I'm rocking them right now.
He's rocking them. I was rocking them on the way over to DFA. Guys, get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends over at Shady Rays got you covered with premium polarized shades that aren't going to break the bank. Look, they've got hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find a perfect pair to match your style. Look, me, Erik, Captain Redbeard, all very different and unique styles, but Shady Rays, they have us covered with everything. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange it for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support exclusively for our listeners. Shady Rays giving out their best deal of the season. Make sure you head to shadyrays.com and use that code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, head to shadyrays.com and use that code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Boom.
Whew.
I love it. I love it.
You are somebody who thrives being a heel.
I love being a pain in a thorn. That's what I love doing.
Yeah. Ask Colorado fans.
Oh, yeah.
Or BYU fans.
Oh, yeah. All the fan bases.
Or Iowa State
Texas fans,
or Texas
whatever.
fans.
I'll shake your hand, Jeff. I'll shake your hand. Okay? This is what's the word I'm looking for? This is just we're good, chat. Okay? We're good here. Yes. Let's accept Shazil. Is that I can't even pronounce it, to be honest with you. Shazil Reza?
Oh.
Right?
Let's talk about the game. Let's look at the numbers. Presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. Arizona, of course, leading 81-72 in the only number that matters. That is the final score. Leading scorer, Caleb Love, 27 points. BJ Freeman, 19 points. Field goals, ASU shot 25 of 68 for 37%. U of A, 26 of 70 at 37%. 3-point percentage, ASU shot 35%, 12 of 34 from the field. 8 of 24 for U of A, 33% rebounds. That is the big one here. U of A, 52 rebounds. ASU, 38 rebounds. Totri, besides the final score, what was the biggest number that stood out to you?
It's the rebounds, right? Late in that game, I mean, it was just disgusting what Arizona was doing to ASU in the paint, right? 52 boards to Arizona State's 38. The offensive rebound totals in favor, again, of U of A, like 14 second chance points, right? In a 9-point ball game. Like, you can't afford to have that. And I mean, look, the turnovers was another thing that it was just disgusting, like, to watch. What was it? 6 turnovers on 10
the first
out
10
of 10 possessions?
Yeah,
Like,
or not the first 10, but out of 10 possessions in the second half.
It was just bad. It was, at a certain point, it just turned into bad basketball.
So here's the number that stands out to me the most that was not on by the numbers. 2 minutes and 17 seconds.
Not scoring at the end?
2 minutes and 17 seconds without a bucket to end this game.
Yeah.
In a 9-point game that was back and forth the entire time. Closing out at the end, and part of this can come from the fact that you have a smaller rotation. Although your minutes were a little bit more limited tonight for your starters. You only saw Alston Mason play 33 minutes, Adam Miller 34 minutes. That is still significantly less than what they usually put out there.
Yeah.
But right at the end, U of A played bigger, played more physical, and ASU just did not feel like they had what we have been kind of asking for this entire season, which is that offensive game plan and identity. And it was that last 2 minutes, and then it was that 10 possession stretch where they had six turnovers. In 12 possessions, they had 6 turnovers and were 2 of 6 from the field. Okay? So they, at a certain point, basically just completely shut down.
Yeah.
Right? Like they forgot how to play basketball. And that only happens to teams. Like every team goes through a cold stretch. Every team goes through a shot, like a space where you're just not hitting shots anymore.
Correct.
Right? But most teams, most good teams, don't go through a stretch where you go, they just forgot how to play basketball. Right? And even though ASU played a more even game this year, or this game, than previous ones.
Yeah.
In that small section, you saw their inconsistency in their lack of an offensive identity, their lack of an offensive game plan consistently. And it bit them in the ass there, and that's when the game changed, and it never turned back for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, there were a ton of moments, right, that you could point to that were head-scratching. I think before we get too deep into what went wrong, I do want to tip my cap and say that first half was, I thought, well played.
Very.
BJ Freeman, Jaden Quainton, Stosan Sanin, Bashir Jihad, Alston Mason. Like the first half, again, I feel like we continue to have this revolving door conversation of like they play one really good half. And then in the second half, or maybe they start out slow, like it feels like it's tough for this team to put together two really consistent good halves. And you saw it again today. You had a really good first half where you competed with a team that's on the verge of being ranked. And then you got to the second half and you had possessions where it was 6 turnovers as soon as they went to a full court press and you couldn't break it. There was no communication.
Had
you didn't
no
know
clue how to break.
No clue.
Like
absolutely
a full
no
court
clue.
press is, it's again to reference my beautiful, wonderful Phoenix Suns. It's like playing in the NBA and saying we don't have a zone package.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get it all the time, but certain teams will employ it, especially in certain situations. And if you don't automatically, in the back of your mind, just go, boop, I know how to respond, right? Yeah. I know exactly what we're supposed to do. Then you get guys standing at half court and not moving when there's a full court press. The number one thing that you do when there's a full court press is move. Because if you just stand still, there's nothing that you can do about it.
Yeah.
So to see them do that over and over and over again is frustrating.
It was very frustrating.
And that's on the players to be able to move, but it's also on the coaching to, after 1 or 2 possessions of doing that, turning the ball over 2 or 3 times out of the first 6 or 7 possessions, call timeout, right?
Yeah.
Or yell at your guys and say, hey, move.
Yeah.
Right? Like these are things that if the coaches aren't calling them out on it in game, it doesn't feel like they'd be calling them out on it in practice, which is why we see stuff like this in game somewhat consistently.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because Arizona State could have absolutely won this game.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Bashir Jihad shot 5 of 17.
I'm getting to him.
Right? Freeman was better, but 7 of 17.
Yeah.
Right? Still not insane efficiency. 5 personal fouls for Freeman. Like, you had players that you can look at and say, okay, I could have seen you playing better, right? Arizona State could have won this game if they knew how to calm themselves down as soon as U of A got a little bit of momentum. And in the first half, they did that. They went punch for punch, blow for blow. Second half, Arizona flipped the switch, and Arizona State did not have their bread and butter to resort back to and find a level.
Yeah. They didn't. And I think that's a great point, right? They almost got flustered when Arizona started to build a little bit of momentum, right? When Caleb Love started doing what he was doing down the stretch in a game where he scored 27 points, 8 of 19 from the floor, 5 of 9 from 3, didn't miss from the charity stripe. Arizona State could not and did not find a way to respond in any other fashion than we are just sending and chucking threes. Bad look threes.
Really bad shots. And that's, I mean, we've talked about this. There's a lot of people in here who have not been here for other post-game shows. Totri, what is like the number one thing that I talk about when it comes to not being able to get the most out of a player like Josan Sanin?
Not setting him up with plays.
Well, and specifically, the fact that most of the time when Josan Sanin takes a shot, it is a really bad contested shot.
Yeah.
And that's on Josan Sanin, but that's on coaching because it's a theme. And that's something you need to coach out of a player like that. Adam Miller had a really efficient game, but Adam Miller is not a saint when it comes to taking some shots he should not be taking. Damon can attest, our host of our Wildcats podcast. We had our takeover. Shout out to everybody that we saw at our takeover this morning. We appreciate everybody who rocked down with us at Postino's before the game and then went to the game afterwards, cheered on ASU, but then some of them for U of A. I was sitting next to Damon, and before, 8 seconds before Adam Miller takes a shot, he has the ball in his hands, and I turn over to Damon and I say, Adam Miller's going to take a bad shot right now. I know when it's going to happen.
It's because it always happens.
And that is their offense. And when the individual talent hits shots, it looks so good. When Sandin swishes a contested 3, it's like, oh, 5-star. Look at the talent.
Yeah.
Right? But then you look at his final stat line, it's like, dude, I need more than 9 points from you tonight.
It just wasn't good in the second half. The second half was a meltdown, right? You go through, and again, in terms of efficiency, right? BJ Freeman fouled out. He took 17 shots. Bashir Jihad, he took 17 shots. Alston Mason went 2 of 7. Quaintance went 2 of 6, right? The best shooter today was Adam Miller, 5 of 11. And Joe Sandin, 4 of 9. Everybody else, they were just chucking them up, dude.
Yeah.
And part of it felt like a panic. Part of it felt like they were slipping away from this game at home. They knew how much it mattered. They knew what was on the line today. Because we haven't got into it, but tournament's gone.
Yeah, I think you're looking at, barring a miraculous turnaround, the tournament's gone. You're right. A lot was on the line tonight. You want to know who else was on the line tonight? The Arizona Wildcats.
Yeah.
For all the Wildcats fans who are like, worst officiated game of all time, you took 22 free throws on the road in a Big 12 game, in a rivalry game.
Kyle, that one, he's gone too.
Tommy?
Yeah. See you later,
Bye-bye.
Tommy. It was a meltdown of dramatic fashion for Arizona State down the stretch. And I don't think there's really another way that you can put it.
Frustrating.
It was very frustrating. It was very frustrating. And we will get into bottle service a little bit later. For me, there is one player specifically that I want to get into a little bit, because for me, just watching it sometimes can be extremely frustrating. And that's Bashir Jihad.
Okay. 14
points, third highest score on the team tonight, 5 of 17, 2 of 7 from 3. Sometimes it just doesn't look good. When I'm watching Bashir Jihad play basketball, I feel like there are moments that he has it looks effortless, and he looks like he is a baller.
His size mixed with I'll say that he has a wide variety and combination of skills.
Yeah.
However, it's when you play a video game and you can choose really good specialized in one area, or kind of more even all throughout.
Yeah.
He's not spectacular at any of his specific skills, except for maybe getting to the free throw line.
Yeah. Look, I'm just over it. I'm over that experience.
Okay.
I'm over the Bashir Jihad experience.
I think tonight is the type of Bashir Jihad experience that obviously I don't want to see. Still ended up with 14 points, but in 33 minutes, shot 5 of 17 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. My thing is, what again folds into coaching? Okay?
Yeah.
Understand that whenever I criticize a player, the player is at fault. But also, if this is a constant theme with young college basketball players with very clear, problems or things they need to be fixed, and they don't at least marginally get better over the season, what is your coaching staff doing? Because we're watching the same game.
Yeah.
Okay? So understand that these go hand in hand.
Yeah. No, 100%. Look, I'm going to address the chat one more time. Because at this point, it's getting a little ridiculous. Tina, you said that I said it doesn't bother me. Absolutely. But again, I don't come to your work and say outrageous things, right? So y'all can come in here. We could talk about the game. You could say a few things back and forth. But when you take it to a certain level, you're gone. And I'm not going to even dance around it. Okay? So you could say what you want if you're a U of A fan and you don't want to get booted, or you do want to get booted. That's fine. Let loose. Do what you're going to do. You're going to get kicked anyways. Or you could go over, you could watch our friends PHNX Wildcats, their post-game show as well, right? That's totally fair. That's totally fine too. But a line has been drawn, and we're going to keep it there for the remainder of the show. Sound fair?
Yeah, I'm going to say this, and I'm really big on this. You can talk trash about the sports all you want. All you want. And we'll do it too.
Absolutely.
I dropped a diss track on the University of Arizona, okay? I hate y'all. How many of you can say I've personally come at any of you about anything? Okay? I hate talking like this because, like a parent, I'm probably the freaking youngest person in here, but it's sports. Talk trash about sports. And that goes like both ways, ASU fans and U of A fans.
Yeah.
Like, go as insulting as you want on the sports side as you want, okay? Plant a flag on their field, throw the forks down. Like, if you win the game, you earn the right. You're a fan. It's a rivalry.
Yeah.
And AD, I disagree. It was the best diss track of all time.
There are certain things right now that are being said that's
horrible
fine.
diss track is funny.
There are certain things that are being said that are funny, right? Totri's pulling a Hurley. All that's like some of these things are funny. You guys know what crosses a line, right? You guys absolutely know what crosses a line. Look, it's just sports at the end of the day, right? That's it. But again, the line in the sand is there, and that's where it's going to stay. And I promise we're going to get back to talking hoops and more Arizona State and Arizona on the other side of this quick break. Look, I'll tell you what. We may not get a victory pizza after this, but I could certainly just use a red zone pizza in
consolation
general.
pizza?
A consolation pizza from Spinato's, guys. Look, if you've never had Spinato's pizza, give me 2 words to describe it.
Absolutely delectable.
I mean, you really can't miss. It's incredible, to be honest with you guys. And look, they are calling all Suns fans, okay? Spinato's are hosting official watch parties throughout the season where you guys can watch the game with the Phoenix Suns dancers and the Gorilla. Stop by for your chance to win free Suns tickets, gift certificates, and of course, more exciting prizes, okay? You can win free pizza for a year and tickets to the Suns game on April 9th. I mean, what's better than free pizza and tickets to a game, huh?
Nothing.
Look, get all the info on the watch parties and pizza basketball contest at SpinatosPizzeria.com. Spinato's, the official pizza of the Phoenix Suns.
Maybe sometimes you just want to drive away.
Sometimes.
Get away from the crowd. You can do that in style for the new year with a new Ford from Sanderson Ford. And we are absolutely proud to have Sanderson Ford as our vehicle sponsor. Now, Sanderson Ford can have you take the whole family out in style and save $11,000 off a new Expedition. A lot of people in here would be a lot more happy if they saved $11,000 off anything. Hit the trails or make your own with the new Bronco Badlands. I know that's our happy place. We wish we were in a Bronco Badlands right now. And Sanderson has 28 of those to choose from with discounts up to $10,000 off. Purchase a new Edge for only $35,995. They also took in hundreds of quality trade-ins during their year-end sale and have 25 pre-owned vehicles with warranty under $25,000 for the best deals in 2025. Choose Sanderson Ford for no hassle, no pressure, no nonsense, and get more for your trade-in with easy on-the-spot financing. Drive into the new year with a new Ford from Arizona's most awarded Ford dealership. That is none other than Sanderson Ford Country.
Wow. I didn't know you had it in you
Built
like that.
on serving
I didn't know you had it
you.
in like that, man.
All right, I'm gonna say one last. I'm gonna say one last thing, okay? Because we've been experiencing some of this over on Suns. Everybody who's new around here, let me introduce you to what PHNX is. Okay? We are a place for sports fandom. We are here to hate our rivals and talk crap about sports. Or talk crap about our own team when they give it away with 6 turnovers and 10 possessions about sports. If you want to be here to talk about sports and you want to be here to trash talk about sports, then do that. You're more than welcome. Those of you who are not doing that, that is not the community we are trying to build. So we are going to take actions to make sure that's not a part of our community.
I'm just curious.
That's it. That's it.
He's commented this a couple times. At any point did I say that Bobby Hurley should punch Tommy Lloyd in the face?
I think you said he should stone cold stunner him and then take 2 beers and hit it over his head and have theme music play.
Did those words leave my mouth, Captain Redbeard? Did I say that?
No,
you
did not say that.
At any point, I'm just...
You know, I think BJ Freeman should have drop kicked Caleb Love.
Come on now. Come on now. And as it relates to the headbutt, I said that a headbutt happened. It got chippy. Stu Joe, he's gone too. He's doing the same. He's commenting the same thing. He's just spamming it at this point. He's gone. It's It is what it is at this point.
We
Okay.
need to change up the vibes. How about some bottle service?
Goodness gracious. Let's get into bottle service. The one Arizona State player that, in all honesty, I feel like you can give this award to today. It's Adam Miller.
Yeah.
Adam Miller for me, 16 points, 3 of 5 from 3. In terms of efficiency, it didn't feel like there was anybody more efficient. Obviously, Josan Sannon took less shots, had less misses, but Adam Miller, 5 of 11 from the floor, 3 of 4 from the charity stripe as well, threw in 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Now, we did have 4 fouls and 3 turnovers, but overall, it felt like Adam Miller being able to build off of his performance against Colorado. Maybe we're starting to see him maybe get into his own, maybe find his rhythm a little bit.
I hope so, because if he can be consistent, that kind of solves the problem that Adam Miller has been presenting for this team since he got here. On any given moment, even within a game, 3, 4, 5 possessions in a row, Adam Miller can hit a couple of shots and it can look good, right? Any given night, he could also go for 3 or 4 points. And
he doesn't stop shooting though.
No, but what you're seeing over at least the last couple of games is not just the numbers, right? 16 points is great, but it's the efficiency. Could we have given bottle service to BJ Freeman, who had 19 points and some really big shots tonight? Absolutely. But he shot 7 of 17 from the field. Adam Miller shot 5 of 11 and was 3 of 5 from the 3-point line. Also got to the line more as well. And he added 4 rebounds, 2 assists.
He just looked like if there was a guy for tonight's game or this afternoon's game that you needed to stop the bleeding, right? It felt like Adam Miller was there. And again, there were shots that didn't look good, right?
Most of them don't.
But they fall.
If I'm being completely honest with you.
They fall, right? Like, of course, that's not a shot that you'd love to take. You'd love to be able to get a cleaner, better look shot.
Yeah.
They just don't necessarily come for Adam Miller. And sometimes at least lately, it feels like he's hitting those shots. And again, you could point to Josan Sannon maybe having one of his better games recently. 9 points is never going to cut it.
That's the thing. 9 points isn't going to cut it, especially when in bench points you got outscored 30-10.
Yeah.
Right? You needed Josan
but
Sannon.
But you knew.
We talked about this going in the game. You needed a Josan Sannon game.
We did. We absolutely did. We also, again, this bench is not, there's not enough. It's not enough. It's not a surprise to me that they got outscored by, 30-10, you said?
Yeah, 30. I know, and I get that. I'm not expecting them to outscore U of A's bench, who brings some of their best players off the bench.
I'm with you, Big Tonka. I'm over it. I'm absolutely
agreed,
over it.
Who says we need to stop Bashir ISO ball? We need to stop ISO ball in general. You know, you said something, and it made me think that's the perfect way to encapsulate what I've seen from a Bobby Hurley offense. And is, hey, most of those shots don't look good.
Yeah.
And it's not just with Adam Miller. It's not just with Josan Sannon. It's not just with Bashir Jihad. It's not just with BJ Freeman. It's not just with Jaden Quaintance. Guys are taking bad shots.
Yeah.
A lot. Over and over again.
And it's not just this game.
And it's momentum killing all the time. Like if ASU and U of A shot the same percentage from the field, ASU shot a better attempt on more attempts from 3. U of A got to the line more, but like turnovers was relatively even, right? Your bench points and your rebounds were not. Points in the paint were not. Like, you have to stop taking ill-advised, contested, mid-range, turnaround jump shots, whether you're Bashir Jihad or Josan Sannon or Adam Miller or Jaden Quaintance. Hell, even if they go in, you cannot rely on that over and over and over again, because eventually you're going to run into the last 2 minutes and 17 seconds of this game.
Yeah.
Which was uncoordinated basketball, resulting in 0 points scored. In a 9-point game against your rival at home, you went scoreless in the last 2 minutes and 17 seconds. You had 6 turnovers in 12 possessions, and out of those 6 shots, you hit 2. That happens because you take bad shots. It is so simple. We've been talking about it for the entire season. The problem with this team is that a majority of their shots, you hear them and you go, or you see them and you go, that's a bad shot.
Yeah, you can
and
tell.
And sometimes they hit them.
But
it's
that
still
doesn't
bad
mean
shot.
You should keep taking
No,
them.
it's about the process.
I feel like that's the thing, though, when it comes to this team, is it's like, okay, sometimes they'll fall. Sometimes these bad, ugly shots will fall, and it'll be like, okay, we got it. We can keep going. We can keep taking these shots. When in reality, it felt like, especially in this first half, the first half wasn't riddled with or littered with bad shots, right? It felt like a real basketball for Arizona State. You saw real talent. You saw real offense,
there was also
real
some
defense.
tough shot making,
Absolutely.
though, too.
But that's the difference, is I feel like this team at times can get confused with making tough shots and settling for bad shots. And too early in offensive possessions, you see some of these guys immediately go to ISO ball and take a bad shot. I've seen Bashir Jihad did it 4 or 5 times today.
It was like 6-7 seconds
BJ
left
Freeman,
in the shot clock.
He did it as well. Like, there are certain things that this team does really, really well. And then on the flip side of it, there are moments and there are times when these guys just get, again, I don't know if it's flustered. I don't know if it's too long of a leash offensively to do kind of whatever you want to do. But that's just where it's at offensively for this group. And one thing I do want to get to, focusing on the Arizona side of things, and we do have some sound from Bobby Hurley that we are going to get to here in just a little bit. His comments on he was saying that
he wanted to RKO Tommy Lloyd.
Yeah, it's exactly
Breaking
what
news.
It was. Down the stretch, Henry Vasar for U of A was a problem. Was an absolute problem for Quaintance, was a problem for everybody in the paint. He finished with 11 points, 5 of 7 from the floor, 6 boards. It felt like those 6 boards all came at the last
felt like
5
all the points
minutes of the game.
All the points did too, it felt like.
Like, he was just...
Second half box score, he had all 11 points in the second
all 11
half.
of his points and all 6 boards.
So he had 1 board in the first half, right?
No, I don't think he had a single board.
Oh, yeah. He didn't have a single board. Yeah.
But he couldn't stop him.
And that's the bench points,
Quaintance yammed on him, and then Henry Vasar was
that's
like,
true.
Okay.
Quaintance did catch a body.
He did. But Vasar, after that, was just, he couldn't be stopped.
No, and again, that's the type of thing where, as a team, Arizona basketball has an offensive identity and understands how to exploit certain mismatches based off of their offensive talent.
Yeah.
That's what good teams do. And Bobby Hurley has talent that can create mismatches. But how many times do we still say that was a bad freaking shot? And do you want to know when bad shots happen? When you don't get a mismatch. Good shots happen when you create disadvantages on the defense. Get Quaintance on Conrad Martinez, right? Like, get Josan Sanin on a big, slow-footed center. These type of things are what lead to us going, wow, great shot. Or even the good ball movement that you can herald, right? This ASU has a good offensive identity. Most of the time, it's like, hey, they just got in a fast break and the opposing team has switched up on defense, and now some of ASU's individual talent can actually get to some of the spots that they couldn't get to when the main defender that's supposed to be guarding them is guarding them, right? Yeah. U of A found a weakness, found something that works, and they went to it for 11 points in the second half, and they won by 9.
Yeah.
Right? That type of stuff matters. And I think a lot of people are talking about Bobby and his energy and it backfiring and it's getting the crowd fired up. My take on it is that in a vacuum, I do enjoy having a coach that cares as much as Bobby Hurley.
Absolutely.
The one thing that you cannot question for all of his tenure is that dude gives an F.
He wants to win, dude.
He doesn't just want to win every game. He wants to win every possession. He wants to win every half. And I love that. But it is a little too far out of control for a coach that also has teams over multiple generations of players. We're talking a decade in college basketball, which is a decade's worth of different players on different teams, of undisciplined teams, of teams that don't feel like they have an offensive identity.
Yeah.
And in order
to have an identity.
And a good offensive identity. In order to be accepted as a good coach who does the type of things that Bobby Hurley does on the sideline, which again, in a vacuum, I enjoy, you cannot have your team look like this consistently.
No.
Because then it's what you're doing is detrimental instead of whatever positive it can bring as far as firing people up.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. There was somebody in the chat that said they wanted us to talk about what Bobby Hurley said post-game. We are getting Bobby Hurley post-game sound. We will play for you guys his response to the headbutt, the not shaking hands, and all of that fun stuff. We are going to take our final break. Look, hopefully you guys all joined Erik and our PHNX Suns crew over at the watch party the other day over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You said it was absolutely popping. It was packed.
It was a packed house, and we had multiple people who came to the watch party that also came to the takeover in the morning. That is dedication.
Wow. That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And look, rivalry aside, everybody in the chat right now, you have a chance to win $5.9 million.
That's a lot of
thanks
money.
to our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Let's set the rivalry aside for this one, guys. Look, for the big game, score more than just touchdowns. Gila River Resorts Casinos is giving you the chance to win $5.9 million with their free prop play. From January 27th to February 8th, you guys can visit GilaPropPlay.com and answer 26 questions about the big game for your shot at the grand prize. Okay, here's the deal. It's free to play. Enter for free and make your big game predictions. Score instant prizes from $5 to $100 and free bonus play while you guys play. And if you guys answer all 26 questions correctly, you guys can win the $5.9 million jackpot. Remember, you do you at Gila River Resorts Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details or check out the link in the description below.
Let's say hypothetically you win $5.9 million. Where are you going to keep it? Well, Desert Financial Credit Union is the place to keep your money, especially if you are a Sun Devil fan, because Desert Financial is the official banking partner of Arizona State University. And for more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. And by lives, I mean specifically my life, my parents' life, my grandparents' life, my whole family's life. We've all been using Desert Financial. And guess what? We got in at a way worse time, because you can get $200 for free. Now's your time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online. Get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started.
I see Mike in the chat saying, I'm an Olive Branch, Arizona fan. We appreciate it. We absolutely appreciate it. Look,
I think it's fine to hate
we
each
do.
other.
We do. Look,
we hate you.
We
as sports teams.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody being in here today. Like, look, I lost, right? I lost a bet to Damon. I lost a bet to Damon.
You do have to shave your head.
I have to get a buzz cut because Arizona State lost. I'm going to take that on the chin. It is what it is, right? Arizona fans probably going to love it. Damon's going to love it. Kevin's going to love it.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Saul's going to love it. Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
I'm kind of going to love it.
Yeah, whatever.
No, but here's the thing. You are
rivalry.
too. You know what it is? You want it to. You literally said, you know what, I was thinking about it anyway. So, like, do you really lose?
I just don't know how it's going to look.
Do you really lose? I
left it up to fate.
I think you're going to look like a completely different person. Not that you're going to look, it's not going to look bad.
You just think I'm going to look like a
Are
different
you going to keep the full beard?
Oh, yeah, I have to keep the full beard.
Buzz cut mustache?
No.
Buzz cut mustache? Double or nothing. Double or nothing.
No.
Double or nothing with David.
No.
On the second U of A
I took this one at home. Okay, look, a lot of people in the chat, again, want to know what Bobby Hurley had to say post-game. This is what Coach Hurley had to say about the headbutt, the ejection, about U of A, and this is, again, courtesy Chris Cartman of Sun Devil Source.
What was your impression of the last several minutes, the incident between Freeman and Love, and then the decision to not shake hands?
I mean, it was, if you were right near our bench, it was relentless, constant chatter, from a couple of the Arizona players that was not being policed properly. And of course, they're going to be happy with winning, but it was done with no class in my opinion. And words that were said back and forth led, to the moment where Freeman, lost it and lost his cool because of the constant talk that was allowed to go on. So I had to make a tough decision to obviously, in the best interest of our team, to get them into the locker room so there'd be no further incidents the rest of the game. And in the handshake.
Had that happened before to you?
No, I just saw that it was very heated, and I thought that there was possibilities that something else could have happened, and I was going to avoid that, and wanted to avoid any further confrontation.
So it was a chippy game, and you mentioned it in your opening monologue, right? It was a very chippy game. It was a monologue. Whenever I have to stand up and I choose to stand up and zoom in on you to give you the solo shot here, which I think is awesome. It's a monologue, but it was chippy, and you even saw text, for words that we don't know what was said, but I think it was KJ Lewis looked at the Arizona State bench and immediately was teed up. Bobby was teed up, right? Like there were lots of tees flying. And again, I agree with pulling the players back, to be honest with you. I do think if the players got into a handshake line, there probably would have been a fight.
Yeah, I mean, based off of, again, the last, what was it? 20, 30 seconds?
I'd say the entire game.
But specifically when it really got escalated with BJ Freeman and Caleb Love, those guys got tossed.
I think Bobby still needs to shake his hand. I understand it, and I understand the people who like it, and I'm not saying I hate it as much as everybody else. I think Bobby's got to shake the hand because you got to treat yourself like, hey, we're the equal here. Good game. This didn't work out. Whatever. We hate you. We'll beat you next time.
Yeah.
When you act like that, it backs up the little brother talk, honestly. I'm mad. I don't want to play the game anymore.
Again, everybody's entitled to that.
And I get it. I get it, right? I think the principle behind Bobby hating the Wildcats, I love. And like I mentioned, that passion, the same way that I mentioned it in the coaching sense of it, in a vacuum, I love. It's the same thing with Kenny, right? Kenny loves being a Wildcat. Greg Powers loves being a Sun Devil. Oh my gosh. Kill me right now. I'm done.
Being a Sun Devil.
I gotta stop.
A Sun Devil. You gross. Gross.
Here's the thing.
Gross man.
Here's the thing. We're like 9 minutes ish until the end of the show. I don't think I can talk again.
That's so bad.
I'm so sleep deprived right now.
So bad.
I'm so sleep deprived right now. I'm gonna die. Anyways, can you change the topic?
Wow. Captain Redbeard, what do you think of this whole thing? I don't know if we got your 2 cents on the shaking hands and all that stuff.
I get the competitive edge. It's your rival. I think at the end of the day, like Kenny says, you do shake your hand. That's just what I think. Even though you hate the Wildcats, till you die, you're the coach. You're the leader that represents your team, and all your players look up to you. And it's like, man, if you're doing that, who the players are looking up to a guy who's just losing his mind and not respecting the other opponent. We're gonna see what happens in game 2.
Yeah.
He can make up for it, you know.
Yeah, you
Does
have
that
to
make you excited though for the second game?
I'm always excited. But
more juiced up.
Okay, in general, I love when rivalries get heated. I love it. I just think, unfortunately, with this situation, Bobby's emotions clearly affect the team. Clearly. And I don't think it affects them in a totally positive way.
But I think it's also their own emotions. These guys don't like U of A just as much.
100%. But you have to channel that in the right way.
I agree. But I think everybody has their own interpretation. I'm not going to tell, again, it's very easy for us. And by us, I mean collectively, right? U of A fans, Arizona State fans, us, the U of A show, everybody. Very easy for us to sit back, right? People who are not playing this game, people who are not being paid to play this game, people that haven't worked all week to play for this one specific game. It's very easy for us to sit back and say, this is how you should feel. This is how you should react in the moment. When you're in the moment and you're in a competitive game that's a back and forth where, hey, I'm talking mess to you, you're talking mess to me all game long. I get it. That's the rivalry. But it's very easy for us to be able to sit here and say, hey, this is how you should feel. This is how you should control your emotions. These kids are 18, 19, 20, 21 years old.
I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about
Bobby, it's the same thing. It's very easy for us to sit back here and criticize a man and say, hey, this is how you should react in the moment. This is how you should feel. We have no idea what was said on that. We have no idea what was said on the court.
And I totally get it. But there is in sport, yes, you are right, valid. And when you don't know what was said, you don't know what was going on, whatever, you can say something, and people have said stuff to me, and it's got me heated.
It's got
me heated, right?
You're telling me if you were the coach at Arizona State, there are certainly some things that somebody could say to you that would 100% make it so you didn't shake hands.
Okay, And I get it, right? It's not an isolated incident, I don't think, with Bobby. We're not just
Jeff,
talking
that is
about
crazy.
today.
That was a crazy celebration.
Yes. Bobby Hurley has to find a better way to channel that energy. Because when Kenny Dillingham jumped up, and I know it's like, it feels almost so lazy at this point, but it's like, it's the line with passion, okay? Passion in itself alone, when it comes to being a coach, is not inherently a good thing. The passion can be a bad thing. The passion can get in the way of your good coaching.
Yeah.
Right?
It can.
And when you look at a coach like Kenny Dillingham, who through his passion channels the energy to, in moments where he's mad, where he's upset, where his fans have already stormed the field, right? Or he's arguing about whatever it is with a blatantly bad call. Do you want to know what Kenny Dillingham does? He gets mad and he yells at the refs and he says, this is ridiculous. And then he goes to the sideline and he calms himself down and he goes, okay, let's go kick their ass. Not let's go lose my mind and make a whole scene out of it. Like, you can be angry. You should hate U of A with every bone in your body, just like Kenny Dillingham was when he screamed, twist the damn knife. But you can't do that to the point where your team is unregulated, undisciplined. Like, it's just, that's not a successful way to handle those things.
Dick Wilson in the chat saying, Totri, you're basically saying Hurley has no obligation to be professional. Why not just punch a player when one pisses him off?
Hey, that would be funny.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, again, it's easy for us to throw stones at Bobby Hurley's glass house, right? You could be a professional at whatever you do, right? All of you, hopefully, have jobs that you enjoy. If somebody came to your job, right, and started saying X, Y, and Z to you, or people in office, right, started saying things to you, there is a line that can be crossed. I'm not saying that the line should have been crossed, okay? I'm not saying BJ Freeman should have headbutt Caleb Love, okay? At the end of the day, I don't know what was said. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he should have shook his hand anyways, because I can guarantee you there are certain things that could be said to me where if somebody said that, I'm not shaking your hand. I'm doing the exact opposite.
I agree. And that's why I'm not talking about just today, right? Because just today is like, when stuff like this happens in rivalries, it's like, okay, right? Like, stuff happens. People get heated. Stuff like, not just ASU U of A.
Yeah.
Not just in basketball, not just football. In high school, in middle school, in little league. Teams hate other teams, right? It's when it's a pattern, right? It's a pattern with this coaching staff, and it's a pattern with Bobby Hurley. I love Bobby's passion. I want my coach to get a T. I want my coach,
which he did.
I want my coach to care so much that when something goes against his team, it hurts his soul. I want my coach to care so much that he can't stand to look at our rival school. I love that. I need that, right? But I don't need that to the point where it gets in the way of beating them, right? You can have.
I don't think it got in the way of beating him. I don't think Bobby Hurley getting upset got in the way of Arizona State beating him. You know what got in the way? You know what got in the way? They couldn't stop
Henry
Visar.
No,
they couldn't stop Caleb Love.
No,
that's why they lost the game. Not because Bobby Hurley got upset. That's why.
No, when they lost the game is when they hit their undisciplined stretch that they have every single game. It is either a half or it is a series of possessions. In this case, it was 12 possessions, half turnovers, 2 assists from the field on the other side of it. Like, this is like, for me, it's like there are things that I love about Bobby Hurley. And I want it to work with Bobby Hurley so bad. The players love Bobby Hurley. He's great for NIL. He is a true Sun Devil, the same way we talk about Kenny Dillingham, right? Even though he didn't go here, even though he didn't grow up here, that dude cares so much. And I love that about him. He is one of the most powerful names in college basketball, and he's done a fantastic job getting talent here.
Yeah.
But when you look at the track record, you are still not up to par with what all of those things should bring. And for Bobby, I think his teams play undisciplined. And in a year in a vacuum, you could talk about players. But when you talk about a decade sustained over time, where most of the time ASU loses big games because of stretches like we saw today, that comes at a point, what are you coaching to fix that? By the way, if you're watching on TV, thank you for watching. Party always continues over at GoPHNX.com.
You have any final thoughts on this game? I feel like we spent an hour just talking about Bobby Hurley getting angry.
Yeah, I think specifically basketball-wise, I'm enjoying Adam Miller being more efficient as of late. I really need Bashir Jihad, even BJ Freeman a little bit, to figure out when to pick and choose their moments when it comes to shooting offensively, because a lot of the times shots early in the shot clock, like they've been taking that are contested, over time, it's just not a winning formula, right? And you're not deep. You need to take consistently efficient shots, and that might mean passing up on that post fade to try to pass the ball a couple of times. Jaden Quaintance, you always see the flashes. I want to see and continue to see him be better on the offensive end. You saw a little jump shot today. You also saw a poster dunk.
It was dirty.
That was really nice. But at the end of the day, all I'm looking at this team now is, are you going to fight and scrap like hell to make the tournament? Or are you going to throw in the white flag?
Throw in the towel. I mean,
I'm interested to see what the response is to this game.
There needs to be a response because, look, this is what we got with the Bobby board. Not a lot of opportunity left for Arizona State to get your signature win. You got Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and then TCU. You got to probably win all 4 of those games. In all honesty, if I'm looking at this from a tournament perspective, Arizona State has how many games remaining? Quick math here, Eric. How many are per row? 8. Right? So you got 10 games left in the season. Arizona State needs to win 8 of their next 10 games if they hope to make the tournament. They have to beat U of A. They have to beat Houston. Like, you have got games here now that you must win if you are going to make the tournament. Games that used to be, we could split with UA and Texas Tech. It just feels like now you have to win certain games. And it starts with Kansas State next week.
You have 2 paths. The 2 paths are basically running the table at the end of the year with exception to 1 or 2 good losses. That means a loss to Texas Tech, a loss to Houston, or a loss to Arizona. Okay? Minimum, you need to beat all of Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Kansas State again, BYU, Utah. And you need to beat U of A, and you need to take 2 or 3 from Texas Tech's 2 in Houston. That is the only path to get consideration in a tough conference.
Unless you win the Big 12 tournament.
And that's path number 2. Those are the 2 paths.
A team that never won the Pac-12 tournament, by the way.
Hey, we are pretty good at winning Big 12 championships in our first year.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
This team is maybe a little different, though.
I guess that's fair. Oh, my goodness, guys. Look, it is that time.
Maybe we'll do aftertaste.
Let's not do aftertaste.
No,
I'm not feeling it after the hour that we've had. I do want to just
like a rotten apple.
Let's get the closing time presented by the Carol Royce team. Your home sold guaranteed realty, where Carol's going to guarantee to sell your home for 100% of market value, or she's going to pay you the difference. Learn more at carolroyceteam.com. Look, I don't want to get too negative here.
Okay.
But this is my takeaway from Arizona State's loss to Arizona. It's so over, dude.
I don't think it's too negative, but nothing even matters anymore.
The show, it's over. The basketball team, it feels over at this point after a 81-72 loss to their in-state rival, the Arizona Wildcats. Guys, look, despite what you may believe, I do appreciate everybody hopping in the chat today. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop out a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Look, if you're a U of A fan and you enjoy being in here, well, you got your wish. I'm gone for the next week, so you're not going to have to worry about me.
What a way to go out.
Just Rubus. Oh, yeah, we had to. We absolutely had to. Look, if you enjoy the content or if you want to just throw some shade, at PHNX_Sun Devils, you can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the greedy little pig here at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. You can follow the man behind the Mac, Captain Redbeard, at K Coop Sports. And, of course, this guy right here, he's going to be seeing you on Monday. But in the meantime, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.